Welcome everybody to the Single and Stilettos Show. I'm Suzanne Oshima and I'm a matchmaker and dating coach at Dream Bachelor and Bachelorette, and I'm also the founder of Single and Stilettos. Today we have on our show Duana Welch. She's the author of Love Factually, 10 Proven Steps from My Wish to I Do. And I'm so excited to have her here today because today she's going to tell us how to answer that dreaded question of, why are you still single? I hate that question. I think it's the dumbest question ever, and it's the worst question to ask somebody. But she's going to give you some great tips on how to answer it. But before she does, Duana, I would love for you to tell our audience a little bit about you and what made you write this book, Love Factually.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me on again. I always enjoy your audience very, very much, and your questions as well. So I was terrible at relationships is the really short answer to this. And like a lot of people, I got interested after I was in a lot of pain. I got interested in not being in pain anymore. But unlike most people, I decided to use science to help me out. I'm a social scientist. I have a PhD in psychology, but not in relationship science. And it occurred to me that I probably didn't need to suffer like this, that there were probably people who had done research into happy, healthy relating. And so I looked up their science and I started using my life as my own experiment. I started applying the science to my life. I got great results. I've been happily married for almost 9.5 years to my husband. And people started wanting me to help them. So I started having clients and a blog, and then that turned into my book, Love Factually. And I'm even working on another book now.
Awesome. I can't wait for your next book because I love all of the research that came out of Love Factually. So, Duana, I know this happens a lot to people, is they'll either get asked this like on a date, why are you still single? And I'm like, why would you ask that on a date? But they also get asked it like at family functions, you know, the aunt or the family friend will go, oh, but you're so beautiful. Why are you still single? And people mean well, but they don't realize it. It makes you actually feel like something's wrong with you. Because I remember when I was single and I would get that question, it was like, oh, God, how am I going to answer this now? So, Duana, tell them how to answer it in a smart way.
Oh, my Lord, I hated that question so much. And you know what people really usually mean by it is, I want the best for you. I want you to be happy. You're such a catch. I don't understand a universe in which you could be single. That's what they really usually mean. Are there catty, snotty people who actually are taking a little dig? Well, yeah, sometimes, but usually, you know, that's not what people mean. So my first piece of advice is try to attune your ears to what they really meant, because it'll be a lot easier for you. This is a question nobody should be asking.
I agree. I completely agree.
So my first advice is let's just not ask that question anymore. I asked my Facebook audience today. I said I'm going to be pre-recorded today for an episode of Single and Stilettos that's coming up. And here's the question, and I'm interested in your answers. And here were some of the reactions I got to why are you still single? How are you not? Because I refuse to settle. I haven't found the right one yet. It would take someone very special to change my single status, and I haven't met them yet. Because my man picker is broken. I totally identify and raise my hand to that one. That was my problem. I'm not single. I'm in a relationship with me. Or, here's mine. I'm in a relationship with chocolate.
There you go. I like that one.
I haven't broken up with it, by the way. Okay, but there was a very serious answer I got from a man. I thought this was really thoughtful. He said, seriously, I find it a bit offensive to be expected to justify my status one way or the other. My life, my choice, my business. And it's very hard to frame that question in any way that is not front-loaded with some judgment, suggesting that singlehood is less desirable or in some way inferior. Bravo, gentlemen. Thank you.
I love that answer. It's true. It's not inferior. There's sometimes where you just want to be single and you don't want to be in a relationship and you're happy because you're doing everything that you want to do.
Yeah. So, but you know, a lot of people who are single, they do want to be partnered. And those are the people watching this podcast, obviously. And so for you, I want you to consider your answer in light of, what do you think the other person wants for you and what do you want from them? So if you want for them to change the subject, let's say that you don't think they have your best interest at heart, or maybe they do, but you want to change the subject. This is not something you want to discuss with them. We need to have a kind, respectful way of interacting with people, just as a way of being. If I could summarize all relationship science in one sentence, the sentence is, if you can find and be someone kind and respectful, your love life will go well. And if you can't, it won't. So even when somebody says something we don't like, we need to try to have a kind, respectful answer. So if you don't want to answer, you can say, well, I'm really just focused on other things right now. How are you? Just redirect the conversation back to them.
I've done that before, when you just turn it around and focus on them, and then they kind of get lost in it. That's a good one.
So, there's no need to be snide. Most people mean well. The people who don't mean well, don't give them the satisfaction of seeing you on the defensive. Just say, well, it's really not what I'm focused on right now, and just change the subject. But let's say that it occurs to you that you'd like to be your own dating service. I really recommend that people use a variety of methods to find a partner, and it is completely legitimate, time-tested, and science-approved to use your network as your own dating service to get set up with people. If you think this person really cares about your finding the right person, you can turn this around. You can say, you know what, I wonder that too, and I'm wondering, as we're standing here, I'm kind of wondering, would you like to help me?
I love that. That is so funny. And then they kind of go, what?
Well, here's the thing. Most people love to be a matchmaker.
That is true.
They really love it. They would love to be the person at your wedding who gets to show the invitation and say, I did this. People want to help. Never forget, most people are helpers. Most people inherently wish to help you. And most people know someone, or they know someone who knows someone, maybe a couple degrees of separation, but they know people that you don't know. They know people who either are single and appropriate for you, or they know people who know people in that category. So if you trust them, and again, I wouldn't do this with somebody that you didn't have some level of trust with, but if you think they have your goodwill at heart, and if you think, you know what, I never considered you as my possible matchmaker, but you'll do, you can say this to them. You can say, it's occurring to me, I don't know why I'm single either, but I need someone to make a good introduction. And it occurs to me, you might know somebody, or you might know somebody who does. Would you be willing to be an angel on my side?
That's true. And it's probably true, too, that the person that's asking the question hadn't really thought about someone that they actually know that might be a good match for her. So that's true. You got to get them thinking like that. I like that.
Yeah, the best friend I've ever had, I coached her. And back in the days when I was getting started, and I had her, she had just moved to Manhattan. She didn't know anybody except for her roommate. And I had her share her list of what she wanted and what she had to have with her roommate. And her roommate looked at the list and within days saw a man that fit this description just walk into the shop where she worked. And she arranged a meeting, and those two wound up married very happily.
Aw, see, you never know when you put stuff out there what's going to come back. I love that.
Let people help you. People usually want to help.
That is true. Well, these have been some great tips. So, Duana, tell us where our audience can find you and your awesome book.
Sure, and it's been a pleasure, as always, being on the show. You can find me and my book, and you can even get a free chapter at the following web address, Love Factually, that's Love Factually with an F, .co.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Duana, for joining us on the Single and Stiletto Show. Thanks, everyone, for joining us on the Single and Stiletto Show. Our show is available both in video format and podcast format. If you'd like to view the videos, you can go to singleandstilettos.com. If you'd like to get the podcast, you can download it from iTunes. And if you would like to get our free ebook on the 3 secrets guaranteed to attract any man based on scientific research, you can click right here on the video, or you can go to singleandstilettos.com.